Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Trick Wallace, and this is this week's best eShop deals video. But this is an extra special one. Clubter Games has decided to allow me to join forces with them, and they're sponsoring this video so that I can tell you about their massive, biggest publisher sale they have ever done. Now their sale starts on May 25th, which should be the day that this video is going live right now, and it runs all the way through June 7th. They've got big discount deals on every game they publish, but in addition to that, they are doing a chain reaction style sale. Now, we have seen this from some other publishers where basically you buy one game and then it will roll into an even bigger discount for another game. So let's go ahead and go through the games that are part of that chain reaction. Now, their first game that is part of the chain reaction is From Shadows. This will be on sale for $1.99. But the good news is if you happen to own any game from their entire library, this one's actually going to be free for you already. And that part of the promotion runs from May 25th until the 28th. Now, starting on the 29th, if you picked up From Shadows, then you can get Kaiju Wars for only $7.99. Its regular discount is going to be $13.99, so it is a big extra discount. And I love Kaiju Wars. As a side note, it's basically like something like Advance Wars mixed with Godzilla-style kaiju monsters. And that's a simple way to describe it, but it's very apt. I can tell you that it plays out exactly as you would hope from that description. And that part of the chain reaction sale, it goes from May 29th until the 30th. And then starting on the 31st, if you've picked up the two previous games, you can pick up Crossroads Inn for only $5.99. Its regular discount during the sale will be $12.99. So again, another big significant price drop. Now, this is a simulation game where you are managing a fantasy tavern, and it's got quite a little bit of spicy adult humor in it. So if that seems like something that would be up your alley, I think you're going to really enjoy it. The reviews I've seen for it seem like, for fans of the genre, that it is a perfect fit. And then finally, on June 2nd, if you've picked up the three previous games, you can pick up Weedcraft Incorporated for only $12.49. Its regular discount is going to be $18.74. Don't let the subject matter of Weedcraft Incorporated scare you off if you're not into that. I can tell you that this is a really, really solid business tycoon game. It's just one of those experiences where you're going to have a hard time putting it down. There's always just one more expenditure you want to make, one more different thing you need to build up your empire. So regardless of whether or not, again, you're a fan of the subject matter, if you're into business tycoon games, this one will definitely win you over. And then finally, if you have picked up all four games in this chain reaction, you can get double discount on the rest of the catalogs. So for the example they've given, We the Revolution, its regular price is $4.99. You'll get a discount down to $2.49 again if you own all the other games so far in the chain reaction. And that extra discount is going to apply to everything they have on sale. And I can tell you that some of these games already have a really aggressive basic price discount. So with that extra discount, you can be looking forward to some really cheap pickups. And Clubter is a really rock-solid publisher. They've published a lot of games I've really enjoyed. I see the Effie is on sale. That is a great throwback-style platformer. Kind of feels like something that would have come out on the GameCube or PS2 era. Again, another platformer, Castle on the Coast. That's another real fun, enjoyable, lighthearted platformer. I'm really a fan of the Amazing American Circus. That is actually a deck-building game, but rather than fighting enemies, it's all about trying to put on the best performance. Or they've got another great sort of simulation tycoon style game called Big Pharma, which is all about producing pharmaceuticals. Also kind of deals a little bit with the ugly side of the fact that you make money off of people being sick, but it does touch on that. I know for me personally, I'm thinking of picking up Golazo, which is a really cool arcade style soccer game. I'm also really liking the look of Sky Hill Black Mist, which is a bit of a side-scrolling horror survival game. And really, I've only talked about half of the games that they have on sale. Definitely take a look through their full catalog. There's a lot of good stuff that's going to be on sale for really cheap, especially if you've participated in that chain reaction sale. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into some of my other top picks this week, but stay tuned because later on in this video, I'm going to tell you how you could potentially win some of the games from that chain reaction from Clubter. they have graciously provided me with 30 keys for 15 for the North American region and 15 for the European region. Go ahead and stay tuned for the rest of this video, and I will tell you later in the video on how you can have a chance to win some of those. So first of all, we have PacMan World Repack, which is hitting its lowest price ever, 50% off for only $14.99. Now, this is a remake of a PlayStation 1 cult classic platformer. Now, as you would expect, since it is a remake of a platformer from that era, it's actually quite faithful to the gameplay, which definitely is going to bring some sort of warts and all that come from that sort of bygone era of platformers. But if you can see past that, this is a really solid visual upgrade to that original game and definitely worth it for enthusiasts of old school platformers. Elderon is hitting its lowest price ever, 33% off for $13.39. I got to take a look at this on a live stream not too long ago. This is a really solid Metroidvania, especially if you are into the Castlevania side of Metroidvanias. It definitely feels like it takes inspiration from that. Also definitely pulls from some of the sort of H.P. Lovecraft sort of monster design. But lots of RPG mechanics, tons of loot, weapons, armor to pick up. This is a really solid Metroidvania. Not particularly innovative, but very solid. The Oregon Trail is hitting its lowest price ever, 50% off for only $14.99. I'm a really big fan of this Oregon Trail remake. It really takes what was a basic core game and built onto it with a lot more intensity as far as the strategy and what you have to consider. This one is actually set up as sort of a semi-roguelike, so that you do have checkpoints. So if you make it to a checkpoint and then you die after that, you can come back to that checkpoint and keep going, or you can try to do the entire trail in one run. So there's a lot of flexibility as far as difficulty. And in addition to the Oregon Trail, there's actually other historical trails that you can go on. So there's multiple different trails to choose from. It's really gorgeous. I love the sort of unique mix of the pixel characters, but on top of realistic backgrounds. Really underrated as far as its visual style. I think it's absolutely a gorgeous game to look at. The Falconer Warrior Edition is hitting its lowest price ever, 65% off for only $10.49. If you're a big fan of like the old Panzer Dragoon games, you would absolutely love the Falconer. This game is amazing on the fact that it's basically from one developer. You would never guess it. It looks like it's got AAA quality written all over it. But you take on the role of the Falconer. You're an airborne warrior. You're exploring this giant ocean world, going from island to island. It's all fully voice acted again. It's absolutely amazing that this came from such a tiny development team. This sits at an 80 on Metacritic, and I can tell you from experience that this game is almost indistinguishable from the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 counterparts. It's really impressive how well they did this port. Arcade Paradise is hitting its lowest price ever, 35% off for only $12.99. I've been live streaming this lately a few times. I absolutely am kicking myself for missing this from last year. This would have easily been one of my favorite games from last year had I picked it up right away when it first came out. But very simply, this is a sort of simulation game where you are building your own arcade in the back of a laundromat. So you're going to be maintaining the laundromat, but all the while using your earnings to buy new arcade games to build out that arcade. But the icing on the cake and the main draw here is the fact that you get to play all of these arcade games you're putting into your arcade. And some of them are really great. So essentially you're buying like 20 games in one. You've got the main game, which is the simulation of building up this arcade, but all these really high quality arcade games to play. This is definitely one of my #1 choices during this eShop sale to pick up. I absolutely adore Arcade Paradise. I think if you even have a slight interest in it, you should pick this one up. Far Changing Tides is hitting its lowest price ever, 65% off, bringing it down to only $6.99. This is the second game in the Far franchise now, I suppose you would call it. Basically, it's a Limbo style sort of platformer game where you are guiding this giant ship and manipulating different things on it that have to be changed as you are making your way through this post-apocalyptic world that is completely flooded. It's one of those games that has a story, but it's really told more through the environment, and it's very silent and quiet. If you like those styles of games, you would definitely enjoy this one. I really enjoyed the sense of scale, how tiny your guy is. And again, you're on this gigantic ship and you're having to, climb down to start up the furnace to get things moving, or then move a different direction to pull down the mast so it doesn't run into something. It's a real fun little mechanic of running all over the ship as you maintain things. Wavetail is hitting its lowest price ever, 25% off for $22.49. Not a massive discount, but this one came out right at the end of last year, so I feel like maybe some people have missed it. If you are a big fan of the Wind Waker and you miss that sort of island hopping sort of gameplay, this is the game for you. In this game, you're going to be surfing the waters of a submerged city, going from island to island. You're going to be taking on giant sea monsters and ultimately trying to push back this sort of infection that's taking over the land. But this game just has really awesome fluid mechanics where, I mean, you could be up on top of a tower, you jump down, you land into the water, into an immediate sort of gliding, skating sprint across the water. And then you're going to be sliding and sprinting into different sort of obstacle course areas. It's hard to explain. It's just got this flow that just feels perfect. Ultimately, it has some simple combat. It definitely pulls inspiration from Zelda-style games, especially the Wind Waker. Now, if you're a tinkerer at heart, you are gonna love picking up Autonauts. It is 66% off for only $6.79. This is all about setting up a little society of robots that are going to do all the things that need to be done, such as planting fields or harvesting or building or cooking or fishing or tailoring, farming animals, all kinds of great stuff. So if you're really into programming, this is definitely gonna be the game for you. For me personally, I can't think of something I would dislike more, but I know there's an avid audience for this style of game. There are thousands of positive reviews for the Steam version, and the Switch port sounds like it's a really solid port. So for you big nerds out there, you should definitely enjoy Autonauts. From Space is back on sale for its lowest price ever, 50% off for only $7.49. I think that this is a really underrated hidden gem from last year. It's basically top-down Left 4 Dead, but instead of taking on zombies, you're taking on these pink bubblegum-looking aliens. You can play up to 4-player online co-op, all kinds of loot, different weapons, different gear to acquire. There's different character classes that each have their own unique abilities. It's really a big, meaty game, even though it looks like it would be pretty simple from the looks of it. But if you're a fan of twin-stick style shooters and the Left 4 Dead style co-op mechanics, this is definitely one you're going to want to check out. Once again, the Crysis Remastered Trilogy is back on sale. Only 45% off for $27.49. I'm not going to go into detail what Crysis is all about. Just basically, it's a first-person shooter series where you have this special suit that enhances your abilities of jumping and better aim and all kinds of unique vision properties. What you really need to know, though, is that the ports of these games for the Switch are basically pure wizardry. You cannot believe how good a Switch first-person shooter can look until you try out the Crysis Remastered Trilogy. So for fans of first-person shooters, if for some crazy reason you've never played these games, definitely worth picking up. And if you just want a portable version of Crysis, then definitely worth picking up. Curse to Golf is 30% off for only $13.99. That is its lowest price ever. Very simply, this is a side-scrolling golf game mixed with rogue-like mechanics. Your main character has died in a terrible accident, and the way he is going to earn his freedom, he has to basically play through golf purgatory. So all kinds of unique different golfing abilities you're going to be unlocking through those rogue-like style mechanics. I really enjoyed this one, but I'm a sucker for side-scrolling golf games in general. I don't know what it is about them. I just love them. I love all of them, even the crappy ones, but this is a really good one. So I definitely recommend it, even if you're just a casual fan of this style of genre. Firegirl Hack and Splash Rescue DX is hitting its lowest price ever, 60% off, bringing it down to $7.19. This is a roguelike firefighting game where you are taking on these fire demons who are trying to burn down the buildings in your city. It's definitely a little bit flawed, but I think for the price that this is where it's definitely a solid pickup. In general, the firefighting mechanics are very solid, kind of what you would expect, definitely a solid pickup. Steamroller Quest Hand of Gilgamesh is 70% off for only $7.49. Now, this is a role-playing game set in the universe of SteamWorld, and it's all played with deck building. So if you love deck building and you love the SteamWorld games, this is absolutely an essential pickup. Has a very good Metacritic score of 81. I personally love all the Steamroller games, and Steamroller Quest is no slouch. It is just as great as all of their other titles. Definitely a unique twist on the deck building RPG genre. Lonely Mountains Downhill is 50% off, bringing it down to $9.99. That matches its previous low. It's gone on sale a few times, but I just wanted to mention it again because this is absolutely one of my favorites. Now, this is very simply a downhill BMX racing game, but you're not really racing against anyone else. You're just trying to make your way through these downhill obstacle courses. Now, what I love about this game is that the main course that seems like the one you're supposed to go on, you can take that course, and it's usually a bit easier. It's a bit more zen-like, a bit more relaxing. But if you're willing to go off the beaten path and check out some of the shortcuts, this can very quickly go from a game that's zen-like to something that's rage-inducing in the best way possible. I really adore games that give you an option to play it as you want. Whether you want it to be nice and relaxing or you want it to be crazy difficult, you can get that with Lonely Mountains Downhill. And finally, we have Fogs, which is hitting its lowest price ever, 40% off, bringing it down to $14.99. This is a very well-reviewed little adventure puzzle platformer game. It's gonna be best played with 2 people. You can play it single player, but if you play it with 2 people, each player controls the dog head that is connected by this sort of dog snake-like body. And very simply, you're going to be taking on all kinds of platforming challenges that you can imagine would be very difficult with this sort of tug and pull against each other, but you're going to have to work together. And it's really funny. It's very lighthearted. It has a visual style that works really well and looks really great on the Switch. All right, I know you are excited about the giveaway, so let me go ahead and quickly give you the details on that. Now, Clubter has been very generous. They have given me 30 game keys to give away to promote this sale. Now, these are separated into the games that are part of that chain reaction sale. They've given me keys for Crossroads Inn, Kaiju Wars, and Weedcraft. And they have given me 5 keys for the North American region and 5 keys for the European region for each of those games. Now, that's a lot of keys to give away, so I decided to separate them out a little bit. I'm going to give away half of them over on my Twitter account, where I will be promoting this sale over there also. So I'll make sure in the top pinned comment there is a link to my Twitter account, so go ahead and click on it, follow me on there, and make sure you have notifications on so you don't miss your chance to win keys over there. And the other half of the keys we're going to go ahead and give right here in the comments below. Just make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and leave a relevant comment to this video. There is one other thing you need to add to your comment. Make sure that you put hashtag NA for North America or hashtag EU for European so that I know which keys you are interested in for your region. Now, do keep in mind, I know that people sometimes have different eShops for multiple different regions on their Switch. That's fine. I can't stop you from trying to enter for the European keys, even if you're from North America. Just know, though, that if you get European keys and then you want to go buy the games in the North American eShop as part of this sale, those European keys are not going to trigger the sale in the North American eShop, and vice versa. It will go the same way. So just keep that in mind. So until next time, I hope you have great gaming, tricksters. Bye-bye.